Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about how to farm effectively rituals and everything you need to know about rituals activity. I'm going to cover how to make money out of it, I'm going to cover the Curse of Nothingness and the boss fight mechanics, and I'm going to give you some tips on how to maximize the currency you are making out of this farming method. So let's start with the beginning. In all your map that contain ritual activity, you're gonna see a circle with a totem in the middle. And every time that you are killing a monster within this circle is going to have some patch of blood that are going to flow to the totem in the middle, and the monster will be reanimated when you are activating the ritual. When you activate the ritual, you always have like an additional affix. In this case is those clouds that are lowering your elemental resistance. You can see wave of blood, you can see tornado, you can see a lot of different affix that you need to pay attention to when you are fighting within the ritual. Every time that you kill another monster in another ritual, it will reanimate all the monsters since the beginning, making the ritual more deadly and deadly as you're going through. If you go through 4 rituals, you're gonna have to face a lot of monsters. By killing the monster into the ritual, you are going to get a currency that will reset when you finish the map. So you need to use as much as possible of this currency. This currency is named a tribute. You can see it at the bottom of the screen when I'm killing the monster within the ritual. When you have completed at least 3 of the totem, you will see all the items that are available. And you will have the currency that you generate through killing all the monsters that are reanimated within the totems. So you see that there is different things that there is. You can have currency, you can have omen, you can have gear, you can have waystone, and you can have something special that is called an audience with the king, which is one of the money maker. Here with the money you have 3 choices. The first one is you like one item like this one and you want to completely buy it. So I'm just going to buy it. It costs me 1,200 of this currency. The second option is very important, and it's probably the most important mechanic, is to defer an item. So you will pay a fraction of the cost of this item and it will reappear in another map that contains ritual, or if you reroll, which is the last option. So I'm going to defer that. So it's just going to cost me a fraction of the cost that initially it was. And next time that I see it is going to cost less tribute. And then reroll, which is going to regenerate all the things. And you see the defer item is now here, and I can keep deferring it until the value drop down to a certain amount and I can just buy it. This is especially needed for very big items such as the audience with the king that are worth more than 4,000 tribute initially. You don't necessarily have 4,000 tribute, so you will need to reduce the cost of this item to a certain level to be able to pick it up. It's also very useful if you realize that there is more than one item that you are very interested with. Like in this case, there is 2 things that I'm interested with, the Omen and the Audience with the King. So you can defer both and keep both without having to choose between one or another.
I don't understand how you make money out of it. This is a clickbait video. You're not making any currency out of it. This is really bad. I'm going to dislike this video.
Relax, my friend. I'm getting to it. The real money maker is the Omen that you are going to pick up and the audience with the king, because every time that you pick up something that has value, you're not talking about 2 or 3 exalted, you're talking about a handful of divine orb or hundreds of exalted or thousands of exalted. This is what I'm talking about. So you're not going to have reward every time that you run a map, but when you do, potentially it can be huge.
I want to see the number.
Sure. The first one is the Omen of Corruption. The Omen of Corruption is about 180 exalted orb as I'm recording the video, and what is used for is to increase the chance of a Val orb to have a positive outcome. The next one that is worth mentioning is the Omen of Amelioration, the blue one, and this one is about 80 exalted orb and is preventing 75% of experience loss. It's especially used for people that are trying to push high levels, such as above level 94, because the huge loss of XP is representing a lot of time, so a lot of players are using it. Actually, the two omen I just mentioned, even if you're not crafting like specifically, is the kind of omen that you may consider using for yourself if you don't want to sell them. Now let's talk about the big money maker. As you can see, they are going to go through the screen and you can see the amount of value you can get from it. There is a big catch of it, is that you need to run a map that is level 80 or above to be able to see those high value omens. As you can see, they are like 25 divine, or for some of them 15 divine for some of them, so huge money maker when you get them. But the catch is that you need to have a T16 map, so it's even using a T15 on irradiated or corrupted, or corrupt your map to get a T16 and use the T16 if you don't have those things. And this is why I believe that ritual is something that is really to be used at the very end game, because you need to be comfortable running T16 map. So usually we are talking about T15 that are corrupted, so you need to be comfortable with running any kind of maps. And also you want to have something in your Atlas tree that is irradiating the map boss. So you have every map boss irradiated, and you know you can use a regular T15 on map boss. The second big money maker is the Audience with the King. The Audience with the King itself will allow you to enter the Curse of Nothingness, and this will unlock the skill tree that you can see here, and I'm going to talk about this on the next part of this video. And the Audience of the King, you can even use it for yourself, or you can sell it, and selling it, depending on the time, it's providing you something between 7 and 8 divine orb. The next option to make money out of rituals is Ritual Precursor Tablet. So if you drop a Ritual Precursor Tablet with this affix, which is Ritual Altar in the area, allow rewarding favor an additional time. If you search for it, you'll see that all of them, they are listed for more than 4 divine. So this Ritual Tablet is also a big money maker, because here we are talking about something that is very, very, very expensive. And we're only talking about things that are 6 map. If you are looking for 10 maps, it's 5 divine minimum. And depending on what you get as a second thing, such as quantity of items or things like that, it can go even higher than that. So one of the points that I recommend taking in the Atlas skill when you are running rituals is Precursor Influence, to increase the number of tablets that you are finding in your maps. This potentially can also increase the number of high value tablet that you get, and will also increase the overall amount of money that you make. If you want to drastically increase the money that you make out of ritual, you want to run the Curse of Nothingness, and there is a part of this video that is going to be dedicated to the boss fight, and you want to assign the point in this order. First, you are going to take this, that is going to increase the number of omens that are contained into your altar. As you've seen, the omens are really the money makers, and a steady amount of them are going to be made when you have this point. The second time you clean the Curse of Nothingness, you want to assign those 2 points that are going to increase the number of Audience with the King that you are going to find in your altars, which is the second best money maker that you are going to get. Then you want to do those 2 things, because it will allow you to reroll once time more every time that you see your altar. And this is very good because it will have a double benefit. First, you will be able to see quicker valued omen or Audience with the King, and also when you find an Audience with the King or an omen that you want to bring back to your inventory, every time that you defer this item and you reroll, it will appear quicker. So it will quicken the whole things where you are trying to pull one of the items that has a high value, and you need to defer it multiple times before you are capable of taking it back to your inventory. Finally, if you want to go 8 on 8 points, you have 2 options. If you are not pulling an item, I do recommend that you go for the 4 altars. Even if sometimes you do have by default 4 altars, this is going to provide you a more steady amount of resources every time that you run a map. This is the first option. And the second option is you go for Promise Devotion, which is going to reduce every time that you are deferring an altar, the amount of tribute that this is going to cost you, and also going to make the things that you defer reappear sooner, which is also good when you are trying to pull out one of the big value item. One of the options that you can do is, if you are looking for a big value item, you can go with the 2 points here and running the 4 altar, and as soon as you see that there is something that you deferred, you remove those 2 points, and as you are deferring it through multiple maps, you take Promise Devotion, so you can bring it home much quicker. And this is why I believe that the ritual farm method is something that is for endgame, because contrary to the breach, where you can farm by yourself very easily, breach splinters, and then go and you have a steady amount of resources that are going to come to you, I think this, every time that you attend an audience with the king, you will bet 7 divine, 8 divine, so you need to be very comfortable making resources. If 8 divine is the price of all your gear pieces together, you probably don't want to invest into getting only 2 points. You probably have much better to do than investing in this at this stage of the game. You want to start with probably breaches or expedition, and then only after, when you have a significant amount of resources, moving towards something that is ritual or simulacrum. Please note that another thing that is synergizing very well with rituals is Delirium, but not the Delirium mirror, but a map that is infused with Delirium emotion. And the reason for that is that Delirium is going to provide more monsters, especially through the mirrors and through the bosses, and those monsters, they can be revived through the rituals. So combining the two is actually increasing the number of tribute that you are going to get through your rituals, allowing you to pull more effectively the things that you are looking for. But once again, here we are talking about a T16 that is infused with Delirium, so this is extremely difficult map. It's probably among the maps that are the most difficult to run within the game. So be careful when you do so, because you need to be comfortable of running something that is extremely difficult. If you are capable of doing so, what I do recommend is that you are taking the mirrors, and you are taking They Are Coming to Get You, which are going to increase the number of bosses that you find in your map that are infused with Delirium, that potentially will be revived through the ritual altars. Then after, what you can do is Get Out of My Head, which is providing you waystones that are infused with emotion, and this is completely free, so that is increasing the number of things that are just free value. And then eventually you can get the simulacrum. The order that I just explained you is if you are intending to run majorly altars infused, boosted by Delirium. If you are focused on Delirium, I think the order should be first you go here, then eventually you take the mirror, and you finish with this. But if you want to make a combo with the ritual, and the ritual is your main source of profit, then that's what I explained just before. So the King in the Mist can be found into the Cross of Nothingness when you use an audience with the King next to the entry point of the general map. Like every Pinnacle bosses, you will unlock points that are dedicated for this specific activity, which is ritual, if you manage to kill it. And if you want to get more points, you need to have the points that are previously unlocked assigned, and that will make the fight harder. It will get 1 level, and you will unlock the 2 others, etc, etc. The fight, and especially the last part of the fight, is much easier if you are a range DPS than if you are a melee DPS. And the reason for that is that you will see tornadoes and you will see wave of blood, and the tornado have the tendency to be stuck within the boss. And if you are in melee range, you are going to be hit constantly by this tornado, which is going to deal a lot of damage to you. So being in range DPS for this fight is going to help you tremendously. The boss mechanic is very similar to what you've seen during the campaign, and you are going to unlock for the first time the spirits. you have two phases of the boss. A first phase where there is only one attack that is dangerous, is the big slam that he's doing on the ground around him. Every time that he's raising his scepter, you really need to move away from him, and it's going to probably one-shot you if you get hit by this attack. In this phase, he is going to teleport through the side, and there will be totems that you need to DPS, and if you DPS them, there is no monster that are spawning. If you ignore them, there is going to be monsters that are going to spawn, and you can be swarmed. When this phase is finished, it's going to send you into the transition phase, where you need to follow the light to find the exit. This phase is going to be filled with some kind of poison or some kind of swarm, and if you get hit by this swarm, it's going to one-shot you. So you need to find the exit quicker than the swarm is filling the maze, and is going to enter P2 when you are getting back to the main arena. On this phase 2, there is multiple things that you need to be careful. The first one is the curses. There is two different curses, a red one and a brown one, I believe. The red one is you need to stop moving, and then the second one is you must move. And if you are not following this order, you are going to be rooted in a certain place. The tornado is most likely going to hit you, and you are going to be killed with a combo of the different mechanic. The second thing that you need to be careful about is the big orb of light that is going to throw at you. You just need to dodge that and avoid the massive damage. Outside of that, it's pretty much just kill the boss and get the loot. Please note that this boss is dropping one of the most wanted item, which is the Ingenuity belt, that is boosting by a percentage both of the ring that you have equipped. This item is used by a lot of builds, and this is why running the Curse of Nothingness and killing the King in the Mist is so high in price, because a lot of people want to get this belt and they want to sell this belt, especially if you get very high roll. It can sell for hundreds of divine a piece. To my point of view, ritual farming is one of the best option, probably the best option to make currency in the end game. The only downside of it is that you need to have a very strong character to be comfortable of running T16 maps with potentially infused with Delirium. You also need to be comfortable of spending a large amount of divine to get the points that are really important, especially the first 6 that allow the additional reroll and more Omen and Audience with the King. And this is the downside of the ritual. But overall, I believe that this is a very strong method, because at the end game, when the league is advancing, it still provides you with divine, and this allows you to get those extremely expensive items that you will need to finish and completely polish the build that you are wishing for. If this video has been helpful to you, please consider subscribing to my channel. As you see, it's a very young channel and every sub counts for me right now. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next video.